And that is where we are beginning today with the absolutely ridiculous pair on the MSNBC morning show, Joe Scarborough and Mika Brzezinski. How long have they been telling us that he's an existential threat, that he's a Hitler-esque figure, that he's a fascist, that women will die if he gets elected? Well, they've done a 180. They've done a 180 as their ratings circle the bowl. And we've got the sound bites to show you exactly what we're talking about.
Is going to work with a gentleman who campaigned on calling the media the enemy of the people?
So I actually think it was the right thing to do. And I've heard a lot of folks on the left coming after Joe and Mika saying, don't normalize him. Well, 75 million plus American voters normalized Donald Trump by making him President-elect Donald Trump.
MSNBC is spewing this every day. Now they are begging Trump to forgive them. Can you imagine this? After spending years calling him names, the last one, Hitler, it went viral. MSNBC is in flames. Their ratings are tanking after spending years calling Trump's names, calling him Hitler.
The time to sound the alarm. When is the time to start saying, well, does this look like Germany in 1932?
His obsession with Hitler that has now come out.
This is not a reach. I could go back and talk about Nazi Germany, and I do it without any concerns whatsoever.
Who they are running against. A dark, dismal, fascist, and increasingly obviously fascist person. He's getting through the moment as an aging bullshit artist. Yeah. There's always a tinge of racism in everything he says. If you can't believe it and this is your choice, you're lying to yourself and you're going to ruin this country. Right. Hateful, racist, bigoted, tired, aging, branding, I wouldn't say genius, branding obsessed narcissist.
He will imprison, he will execute whoever he's allowed to imprison, execute.
They're knowingly voting for a fascist. They're voting for a racist.
Did a graphic scene like he was having oral sex.
Oh my God.
With the microphone.
That was before Trump won. This morning, it's the dawn of a new day. Glenn, let's watch.
Joe and I went to Mar-a-Lago to meet personally with President-elect Trump. It was the first time we have seen him in 7 years. What we did agree on was to restart communications. In this meeting, President Trump was cheerful. He was upbeat. He seemed interested in finding common ground with Democrats on some of the most divisive issues. And for those asking why we would go speak to the president-elect during such fraught times, especially between us, I guess I would ask back, why wouldn't we? Joe and I realize it's time to do something different. And that starts with not only talking about Donald Trump, but also talking with him.
And I will tell you, a lot of Democratic leaders we've talked to this past week, since the election, have told Mika and me it's time for a new approach. And
hyperbole and personal attacks will not work. My hair on fire doesn't work. We've all seen that. What also does not work is threatening political opponents with arrest, harassment, and even jail. That is a failed path. This will be a consequential presidency. The question is whether it will be constructive. As for us, we also let him know that we will continue to speak truth to power and push back hard when called for, as we have with all presidents.
Don't be mistaken. We're not here to defend or normalize Donald Trump. We're here to report on him.
I'm glad the media never forget. This is the record of these people doing this to Trump throughout the years. Now they want to do this When you take a look at this article recently put out by Fox News, MSNBC staffers lash out at Morning Joe co-host meeting with Trump. Disgusting, but frankly unsurprising. When you go down the article, MSNBC staffers are lashing out at Morning Joe co-hosts Joe and Mika after they shock their liberal viewers by revealing their recent Mar-a-Lago meeting with Trump. Called this, one MSNBC employee reacted to Fox News Digital doing exactly what anti-Trump historian team warned on our air not to do. Obey in advance is disgusting but frankly unsurprising. The source said MSNBC rank and file are now largely resentful of the network Morningstar, saying it feels like they are just opportunistic. You can clearly see the meltdown is not stopping after this move.
Will 75 million plus American voters normalize Donald Trump by making him President-elect Donald Trump? In this notion that if sort of the resistance who opposes him stayed in their safe bubbles, sat on their hands and just complained about him for 4 years, that would have a bigger impact than sitting down. I talked to Mika, actually. They met with him for over 90 minutes. They raised very valid concerns. They both see themselves as opinion journalists who want to actually be able to engage the person that they talk about every day, actually be able to raise issues with them when they're concerned. And in the same way that I thought it was right for Joe Biden to meet with him, and that I think it's right for presidents to meet with foreign adversaries to try to find diplomatic relations and ways to bring people together and solve problems. This is absolutely the right thing. I would sit down with Donald Trump. I would interview Donald Trump. And I'll go a step further. I hope good people work for him. We need to stop demonizing people because they supported a man who just became president of the United States. We should hope good people are around him and smart journalists are challenging him.
Alisa is now waking up. When Trump was campaigning, we saw how they demonized him. Now the tone is changing, and I like that. So now Hostin have this to say, particularly to this situation. You know her, she will say some ridiculous things just to...
Are you talking?
Well,
Okay.
look, the bottom line is that America needs a free press that is willing to speak truth to power right now, more than ever. And I think that we have to be very clear-eyed when we think about the president-elect and cover the president-elect. And I don't think you need to sit down for 90 minutes at Mar-a-Lago and kiss his ring to be able to speak truth and to be able to cover a story. So maybe they're not journalists in the true sense. Maybe they're saying that they're opinion journalists. But we have to remember that Trump is the guy who ushered in the era of fake news. He is the guy who ushered in alternative facts. He is the guy who attacked 3 black female journalists. He's the guy that revoked Jim Acosta's press credentials for asking him a question. And so I think that this president-elect, I hate to say it, would like nothing more than to have only Fox News cover him, would like nothing more than a state-sponsored media.
Trump made it clear during that interview, like he want to reunite with the media. Let's forget about campaigns and politics. He is now the president. He acknowledged he knows what they have been doing in the past. Coming to tell me, oh, Trump did this, you should not be able to go and interview him is ridiculous. He's a president. Whether you like it or not, you have to take it. Unless you're not a regionalist, when I see the View going against something, immediately I will start looking in that direction, in a different direction. These people, to me, did the right thing because let's forget about what they have been doing to Trump. I understand they are the same people, but in that light, they did the right thing. They want to go back into their old ways, how they used to report. They may have made mistakes in the past.
Country, but they voted for Kamala Harris.
But there was a split, and more of them voted for Donald Trump than had historically. I think that there's such a desire. If you really think the vast majority of this country voted because of racism and misogyny, you're missing it.
309, Tulsi Gabbard added to Donald Trump's cabinet. Also with a
theory that a lot of people seem to be told us
they were too woke, insisting that people use the term Latinx.
You have to say they. No, you have to do this.
Stop with the virtue signaling.
step away from woke. Focus less on who is woke and more on who is broke.
I've never seen that.
I saw so many liberals getting super excited every time Kamala had a new celebrity endorsement. But we all know for a fact that these celebrity endorsements are not free.
Oh, is it true that they paid you $1 million for the endorsement for Kamala?
Not true.
Now it's time to unite everybody.
I want you to know what would change after doing this.
Comes out against Trump.
I don't care if they write that.
So, with that, I'm going to shake it off.
Figure out a way to say thank you.
That guy's name, he's such an absolute prick. I can't stand him. But anyway.
Hey there. Not doing great.
Terrible night last night. It was a terrible night.
What will the rest of us be doing on day one?
Bishop Vigano, he says that